And this is Speaker Pelosi's speech that frankly struck the tone of partisanship.
And because somebody hurt their feelings, they decide to punish the country.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle were quick to point fingers at each other after the House of Representatives failed to pass a $700 billion bailout plan. But seasoned observers say the real reason may be intense pressure from constituents at home. What do average Americans think of the financial crisis?
Well, you were close.
88-year-old Archie Simpson and his wife Roberta are enjoying a retirement in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. He says the bailout plan is necessary, but he is not happy about it.
I'm not angry. I'm disgusted with it. I think it was been horribly mismanaged.
A fighter pilot during World War II, he spent almost 30 years in the Marine Corps. Afterwards, he worked as a stockbroker. Archie and Roberta live on a fixed pension from the military. He also has a substantial stock portfolio, which has dropped in value more than 40% during the crisis.
Greed is the thing that bothers me most. It's greed. It's people trying to get too much money, doing too little, not doing the job, not properly supervising, or having the supervisors who are not doing their job.
His wife Roberta does not support the bailout. She was raised during the Great Depression of the 1930s. Her parents taught her to work hard and pay her own way, values that have served her well throughout her life.
I cannot believe they were giving mortgages to people with no money down and paying interest only. I cannot believe this could happen in this day and age. It's unreal to me.
She says taxpayers who lived within their means should be protected. She says any bailout should only be for the benefit of responsible people.
Now, we shouldn't have to pay a lot of money for this bailout. We shouldn't have to have our taxes increased terribly to pay for it. For people that have made mistakes and bought these houses when they knew they couldn't afford them, this really makes me angry.
31-year-old Lee Mitchum has a different view. She's a graduate student in business at Johns Hopkins University in Washington, D.C. She sees opportunity in the crisis.
I'm optimistic. I think that we can come out ahead in this.
Lee worked in the financial services sector for 6 years before going back to school. She has been investing in the stock market since she was a teenager, and she has a portfolio of well-known blue-chip companies. She says the government could turn a profit by buying assets from failing banks that gain value as the market recovers.
If the government really does take out all these warrants, which are a form of option on these companies, the government stands to make a huge amount of money. They could possibly eliminate a lot of the debt that the government's holding right now if the market turns around.
She agrees that inflation could be fueled by the government taking on more debt, but she says as a student living on loans, that could be to her advantage.
As a student, I'm kind of on fixed income when it comes to student loans. However, if inflation goes up, the cost of my student loans effectively goes down. It will actually benefit me if we have inflation.
Just because this bill is unpopular doesn't mean we have to pass it immediately.
Lawmakers are sure to get an earful from their constituents as they campaign for re-election while on break. The House of Representatives resumes negotiations on the bailout on Thursday. Jeff Swicord, VOA News, Washington.